Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing Regidrago and its two new legacy moves for the very first time. This Regidrago can be encountered through the Ancients Recovered Timed Research Legendary Giants, which should be in the Events tab. Now the two legacy moves that it gets Legacy Dragon Breath, so at long last it gets the fast move it is so desperately needed, and it also gets Legacy Dragon Energy, a dragon type clone of the move Frenzy Plant. Now, Regidrago always had some pretty solid stats, so I'm very excited to see what it can do. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out double legacy Regidrago in some Great League practice battles. Hopping into the first match, picking up a bit of a tough lead, staring down Galarian Corsola with Unova Stunfisk. Stunfisk, I just kind of have to stay in this matchup and play it out. The team is structured as a pretty standard ABB, where the goal is, I'm using Lapras to try and lure out a Dedenne, wall it off with the Unova Stunfisk, and then I have Regidrago in the back with its Mono Dragon moves. Here, I'm able to put up a solid fight firing off these Mud Bombs, but it's still by no means a good matchup just because of the incredible bulk of Galarian Corsola. Corsola will fire off the Nightshade. I'm just going to let this through. Nightshade is going to land. I'm now going to send in Lapras. Lapras going to try for a farm down, gets the farm down, denying the opponent's move, and now in comes Samurott. I'm up quite a bit of energy, so I'm not going to bait. I'm full sending the Skull Bash. Skull Bash is going to be shielded by my opponent. They continue to farm. I go for the Sparkling Aria, and they will win charge attack priority. At this point, I just need damage on the Samurott. They go for the Mega Horn, but at +1 defense, Lapras is going to tank that very comfortably. The Sparkling Aria does get shielded, and now it's time. Regidrago hits the field. I will have to respect against a potential Mega Horn. Regidrago is mid-1800s in terms of stat product, so it's not bad in terms of bulk, but it's also not amazing in terms of bulk. Hydro Cannon is going to land, and in the back is Diggersby, and now we get to see Dragon Energy. Dragon Energy is going to land. That's some very solid neutral damage onto the Diggersby, and I do quite like the Dragon Energy animation as well. So I will commit the shield. They're going to go for the Fire Punch bait. It's a race to the charge move, but Regidrago is able to get there first. Regidrago gets the Dragon Energy. Down goes Diggersby. We farm down Samurott, and that is a good game. We move to game number 2, and it appears I've made a very large oversight in team building, as I forgot Cradily was a Pokemon. This team is so weak to Cradily, and this is going to be an absolute nightmare because I can't really switch out because my Lapras doesn't have Ice Beam. So I'm forced to just stay in here with the Stunfisk, let Stunfisk get absolutely destroyed, and then I guess try and farm with Regidrago and hope that the Regidrago Lapras backline will be able to close the game for me. I'm able to land 2 Mud Bombs, my opponent will fire off a move, and this is just going to be the end of Stunfisk. I'm going to try and get farm with Regidrago. Opponent is going to pivot out, and they bring in Golisopod. Golisopod will be firing off X-Scissor here. I will commit the shield. Oh, they actually Aqua Jet to cover for a potential catch. But I don't end up going for the catch. Instead, I'm just going to full send Dragon Energy. Dragon Energy into Golisopod, picks up the KO, and down they go. In the back, oh my goodness, it's Talonflame. And if there was ever a moment for Regidrago to shine, it is this. Regidrago going to be resisting these Incinerates. I'm able to make it to a second Breaking Swipe as well. And Regidrago applying so much pressure. I do get the Breaking Swipe debuff. I am going to commit the shield as my opponent is going to fire off the fly and then look to send in Cradily. It's going to be a race to the move here. I get to the Breaking Swipe, but one turn before I get there, they are going to make it to the Rock Tomb. So Rock Tomb KOs Regidrago, but now I can just farm down with Lapras, safe in the knowledge that Lapras survives a Brave Bird. They bring in the Talonflame, firing off the Brave Bird, but it's just never going to be enough. Lapras hangs on, gets the Psywave down, and we're able to take the win. We get a Dream Lead in the next match, Stunfisk into Dedenne. Opponent safe switches into Jellicent, and they are completely core broken by the Stunfisk. Stunfisk going to get to land super effective discharge. I throw 1, go for the Surf Catch, but they show amazing patience holding on to that move. And now, because I tried to go for a flashy catch, I'm actually in a negative position. I can't knock out with an Aria just yet, so I'm forced to commit the shield and then just look to Psywave them into Aria range. So I'm going to throw 8 Psywaves here, but the game ends up being stuttery. I thought I threw 8, but I guess it was a CMP tie. Whatever they did in the most recent forced update has really made the game state so much worse. I really want them to revert that as soon as they possibly can, because the game normally feels very buttery smooth, and it's felt extremely stuttery throughout these past few days. In comes Dedenne. I'm not going to get to double Aria, so I just go for the Skull Bash, able to get some very nice damage. In comes Stunfisk, in the back is Diggersby, and man, I should have brought the Regidrago into the Jellicent, because then I would have had Lapras for Diggersby. Diggersby also baits with the Fire Punch. Oh, this is so bad. I need a Breaking Swipe debuff. Come on, Regidrago. It's a 50-50 shot, and we do not get it. The good news is I'm not going to get knocked out by a Scorching Sands here, but man, I really wanted that debuff. I'm just not even building up to the Dragon Energy anymore. I'm just openly fishing for the Breaking Swipe debuff. I go 0 for 2 on the debuffs. My opponent will be able to pick up the knockout here with a Fire Punch. And then, they actually go for the Scorching Sands to guarantee the knockout. And then back in comes Stunfisk. Stunfisk is going to be firing off Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb will be lethal here, so my opponent will be forced to shield. They can go for the Scorching Sands, but it just does not KO. Diggersby does not hit very hard. But they get the debuff. That's absolutely disastrous. They get a catch onto Dedenne, but with the debuff, will I still be able to take home this win? In comes Diggersby. It's going to be a race to the finish here. I am now debuffed. Mud Bomb does not KO. If they have the move, they win this game. Oh my goodness, please don't have the move. It's just a Fire Punch. We survive. That was some atrociously bad debuff luck. We move to the next game. Unova Stunfisk staring down Tinkaton. Great lead for the Stunfisk. Tinkaton only settles for a Bulldoze instead of going for the harder hitting Play Rough. I go for the Mud Bomb, and they read me like a book with a catch onto Quagsire. That is really unfortunate. Now I'm going to send in Lapras. As long as I get one shield call right as the Lapras, I should be in a very comfortable spot here. I fire off the Sparkling Aria right off the bat. The Sparkling Aria is going to be shielded. These Psywaves do add up quite a bit as well. My opponent can only flip switch if they go for a double bait. I shield, and they bait the first time. That's really not great. Surely this is the Stone Edge. I shield twice, and they double bait me, and now I'm going to lose switch. And I have a Regidrago in the back. I cannot afford to lose this Lapras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch into the Stunfisk. They had to throw there because I was very close to a second Aria, and catch the Stone Edge where it's going to be resisted. They stay in with the Quagsire. They get Thunder Shock down. And now what do they have in the back? They bring back in the Tinkaton. I knew that if I kept Lapras at its current health, Lapras would be very valuable into the Tinkaton, even if it was in the back, because I had a lot of energy and I wasn't in Play Rough range. But now, I get to land a Mud Bomb, 2 Mud Bombs actually. They barely hang on to make a last second Bulldoze, and I'm just going to Dragon Breath down Tinkaton with Regidrago. In the back is going to be Mandibuzz. The game's struggling so much. Game, please, just revert this update. It's so bad. Please just revert this update. Dragon Energy gonna do very nice damage. They get to return fire with a Foul Play or a Dark Pulse. Neither one will be able to knock out. And now we will get to very comfortably make it to the Breaking Swipe. We actually get to the Dragon Energy as well. So if I was feeling a little mischievous, I could have gone for the Dragon Energy, but we're just gonna fire off the Breaking Swipe and take the win. Picking up a very nice lead in the next match, Stunfisk versus Golisopod. It's Fury Cutter Golisopod as well. Golisopod risks a CMP tie. I guess Stunfisk are probably always going to throw there, because if they overfarm, then the Golisopod gets to throw for free on 11. So I guess that CMP tie does make sense. Discharge is going to land. I'm anticipating a catch, so I Mud Bomb, and they catch onto Dragalge. Let's go. What a read. Dragalge now going to be answered with Lapras. I could have sent in the Regidrago, but I'm anticipating that Regidrago could have value in the back. So Lapras gets the fire off the Sparkling Aria. They're going to shield, and I think I'm just going to save shields for Regidrago. Regidrago will be able to put in some work in the endgame, is my hope. And now my opponent is going to land that Outrage. In comes Golisopod, and Golisopod will just barely be able to outpace me here. X-Scissor picks up the KO. In comes Regidrago in the back. No, it's Galarian Wheezing. And honestly, the moment I saw the Wheezing, I gave up, and that threw the game. If I just switched Stunfisk instantly, I could have outpaced and made a Mud Bomb, but the combination of me overfarming a bunch, just giving up because I saw a Fairy type into my Dragon, and a combination of them having Brutal Swing means that I won't land a Mud Bomb, and I actually just threw this game. That is really unfortunate. There is still an opportunity for me to win, though, if I can land a Breaking Swipe into a Dragon Energy. That could potentially still be a win con for me. I throw 5 Dragon Breaths in the move, but I got 1 turn bring in, so my opponent gets a sneak for free, and now I think I'm getting outpaced. Oh, that is really, really unfortunate. They go for the Sludge. Regidrago trying to get the Dragon Energy, and we fall 1 turn short of making the Dragon Energy and winning the game. Dragon Energy would have knocked out from there. It is a really good move, but unfortunately, it's not to be. We move to the next match. We saw a very nice lead leading into Dedenne, and they end up safe switching into Lapras. I'm going to chip Lapras with a discharge. They shield, which I honestly think is a really good play, and then I'm going to mirror. The fact that I'm staying in telegraphs that I don't have a hard check to Lapras, so them preserving health and then firing off Skull Bashes is honestly a pretty solid way to play it. The good news for me is being up a shield, I can shield their first Skull Bash, and they're unlikely to want to shield mine. So now I will be able to dictate alignment in this game, and considering they have a Dedenne on the lead, that is very, very important. Another Skull Bash is going to land. I'm going to farm up, fire off the Aria before they're able to even make another Aria. This Aria will be able to pick up the knockout, and here I'm just going to commit to the Skull Bash. I don't want my opponent to farm all the way down, so by committing to the Skull Bash, it forces their energy, which I would honestly very much prefer them to throw the energy rather than them exit with a move. And now, in the back, they have Furret. Furret, a bit of a forgotten Pokemon this season. It was so strong in previous seasons. But Furret is here, and unfortunately, it is getting Regidrago'd. Regidrago gonna fire off Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is gonna be shielded. No Breaking Swipe debuff once again. Oh my goodness. The Breaking Swipe debuffs are not in our favor today. Breaking Swipe may be able to knock out there, but I know I can guarantee it with Dragon Energy. So I fire off Dragon Energy. That's gonna pick up the knockout. Back in comes Dedenne, and Dedenne, they do have some residual energy, but because they were forced to throw a move at that Lapras, they're not going to have enough energy to win the game. They're going to get to land one play rough, so they will be able to get half the damage that they need, but they just don't have the pacing needed to take home this win. We get to Mud Bomb number 2, KO Dedenne, and take the win. Very bad lead in the next match, Stunfisk into Shadow Swampert. I'm going to save switch into Lapras and see what they want to do. They're going to respond with a Shadow Drapion, and honestly, this is pretty nice for Lapras. I'm very, very okay with this, because Drapion does not have a good matchup into Lapras. Lapras is going to tank that crunch no problem. I'm very close to the back-to-back Arias. I debated going for the Skull Bash, but I figured that having a Skull Bash shielded would be too risky when I could just guarantee damage and a shield with the Arias. Now, I come to a bit of a decision point in the match. Do I shield and play for switch? I say no. I decide that I'm instead going to go for farm on Stunfisk and shield advantage for Regidrago. I'll now have a Mud Bomb banked, so I'm just going to switch into Regidrago and snipe them down, so that way I get a small energy head start. Now I just have to cross my fingers and pray it's not the Dedenne, and it's not. It's going to be a shiny Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres will go for the fly right off the bat. At this point, I'm thinking my opponent probably has to try and call a bait, so I'm going to farm up to well over the double Breaking Swipe and full send Dragon Energy. Dragon Energy at the Moltres is going to be shielded. I get to another Breaking Swipe, and will this knock out? I think the answer is no. They hang on 1 HP, but the Dragon Breath snipes it down, so the opponent is unable to save the move. They're also unable to throw the move because both of those actions take a turn, and that Dragon Breath would go first. We land the Breaking Swipe, we combo with the Mud Bomb that we saved earlier, and off a really awkward lead, we're able to fight back and take the win. Speaking of awkward leads, we lead into a Quagsire in the next match. I save switch into Lapras, going for the Aria right away. They're going to switch and make a catch onto Furret. That Quagsire energy is genuinely going to be very annoying for the endgame, but the fact that Furret is so far behind is really good for me, because Furret genuinely does not have a great time against the Lapras that's up even a little bit of energy. Furret's forced to shield, and they're going to have to throw 2 moves here if they want to pick up the knockout. They are unable to farm down after a Trailblaze. They can try for it, but Lapras is going to get the Aria. My opponent realizes this, and that forces their hand as they need to fire off a Swift. So Swift is going to pick up the KO, and now I send in Stunfisk. Unfortunately, Stunfisk does get 1 turn bring in there. You absolutely hate to see it. They are going to be firing off energy. It's going to be the Trailblaze. I look to bank back-to-back moves, and then this will just simply KO the Furret, and it's going to be all up to Regidrago in the endgame. I do have the move banked on the Stunfisk for later. In comes the Regidrago. They stay in with the Quagsire. This is almost assuredly a bait, but I do have to respect it because Stone Edge would do a lot. So I shield the Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of stutter there again. I don't know what this patch did to the game, but please send this patch away. In comes Sableye as the final Pokemon, and realistically, I'm going to need a debuff. I go for the Breaking Swipe. I don't get the debuff, and I think I'm just going to get Shadow Claw down here. I just don't have the bulk. The foul play lands. Oh, Regidrago survives. I stand corrected. I underestimated Regidrago. We get the Dragon Energy. That's going to land. In comes the Quagsire. I have the Mud Bomb here. and I just completely fumble. I should have thrown it instantly. I did get one turn bring in there and it threw me off, but I should have just clicked the move instantly. That should have been a win, but unfortunately it will be a loss. Man, I am not on my game today, but we're hopping into the final battle, looking to get one final win. We all have off days. Today is definitely just an off day for me battle-wise. It is going to be another Golisopod. Golisopod going to be hit with a discharge. Oh, they actually end up shielding, and I will just go for discharge number 2. This will do quite a bit. My opponent does end up double shielding. Can they farm down here? They switch into Dragalge. I think they could have actually Fury Cutter down, but they got worried. They panic switched into Dragalge, and now that just puts me in a really nice spot. I can send in the Lapras. Last time it was a Weezing in the back, so there's absolutely no way I am ever no shielding this move on Lapras. I am learning from my mistake. I have a Skull Bash loaded. Oh no, they bring in Golisopod and they didn't throw the X's, so they could have Cap-Tied there. Skull Bash connects. I don't normally run Skull Bash. Maybe they were anticipating that I just didn't have it, but I do. They lose the whole Golisopod. I mean, they were going to end up losing to the Regidrago anyway in the back. They fire off Sludge Wave, which does do some pretty nice damage, and just because it is a Regidrago feature, we're going to bring in Regidrago and just fully commit to the farm down. I really like Regidrago's Pokemon design. I think it's one of the coolest Pokemon they've ever designed, so I'm really happy that at long last it finally has a moveset that lives up to how cool its design is. All in all, these two moves are incredible improvements. Regidrago was complete unplayable before this. It was so bad. But now with these new moves, it's a very viable anti-meta Pokemon. The thing that holds it back from true meta status, same with Como-O, is going to be its lack of coverage. It just doesn't have any coverage moves that it can use, but in situations where you're not up against a Dragon Resist, it's going to put in some pretty nice work. I do think it'll be pretty solid for both Great and the Ultra League, just with these incredible improvements to its moveset. I think given the choice between Regidrago and Como-O, I would actually give a slight edge to Regidrago, which people might find a little bit surprising. But why I like Regidrago a little bit more is in the Great League it has slightly better stats. Breaking Swipe is obviously Dragon Claw, but a 50% chance at an attack drop. So if you get about 50% and not just missing a bunch of debuffs like I did in these battles, then it'll artificially improve its bulk as well. Obviously, Como-O's new move is better than Regidrago's new move, but I still think having a better bait move does put Regidrago just that little bit higher. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.